Hi, I'm Naomi Paris. I am a fashion designer from Australia, and I'm here to give you some tips and tricks on how to find or design the right wedding gown for you. So in this video, we're going to be talking about lace fabrics and the different styles of lace fabrics that we work with. The first kind of lace fabric that we work with is called sheet lace. So this is lace that actually comes on a roll like normal fabric, and you roll it out and cut with it. Now, sheet fabric comes in all different types of sheet lace. The first one being something like a French lace, which is something like this. So you can tell this is basically on a sheet of fabric. It has a trim at the bottom, and this is a very popular style of French lace fabric. If you see a close-up version of this, you'll actually see that there's piping around the lace, and it has a little bit of a 3D effect because it's a little bit thicker. And then on the other side of the scale, we have a thinner version of lace, and this is also very popular. And this is a sheer, very delicate style lace fabric, great for those boho style gowns, and it's also great for layering. So we do a lot of layering with this style of lace. We might put this underneath tulle, or we might actually layer it with some applique over the top, which we'll talk about in a moment. And you can sort of tell when you look up close that there is no real piping detail here. There's not a lot of dimension with this type of lace. It's quite flat, but that's what gives it that delicate element. And then the third lace fabric that we work to is a cotton lace. So this has been really popular over the past few years, particularly with those barn weddings or country weddings, that sort of effortless look that people go for with their gown, and this is the type of thing that we're talking about. So cotton lace is a very chunky style lace. It comes in all different types of prints and patterns, but you can sort of see looking up close that it's quite chunky and it has a cotton style effect in the lace, which is very different from French lace. So we have quite a few different versions of these. This is just, the most dramatic, which is why I'm showing you this. And there's quite a bit of holes and things in it. So this type of lace is also very popular. So they're just 3 different examples of sheet lace, but we have a whole range of other laces as well. Now, the next type of lace I want to talk about is lace applique. So with gowns that have an illusion neckline or an invisible sheer bodice, applique is used a lot of the time. And this is because we can control exactly where the applique goes, and we can make it bleed out the bodice or bleed into the skirt, and control the density of the lace, whereas we can't do that if we're using sheet lace. So lace applique is like this. This is an example of applique. So we have a whole book filled with different styles of applique that we will use. And this one here is actually a French lace applique. So it actually has that piping detail, which I was showing you earlier, that you might be able to see. And it's also got a 3D layer. So this flower here is actually appliqued on top. And same with this one. So this sort of gives that 3D effect as well. So we have a whole range of different style of French laces, and we also have cotton laces. So exactly like the sheet lace that I was talking to you about earlier with the cotton lace in the sheet lace, we also have cotton lace appliques. This is a cotton lace. Very difficult to see on screen the differences, but it's mainly the feel and the finish, and also the pattern. So these are less traditional prints. They're also a lot flatter. You can sort of see there. Don't know if you can see that very well. And then if you're looking at, some other examples, This is a great example of a cotton lace. You can sort of see up close that it doesn't have a lot of dimension, it's quite flat, and it's also very soft, which is another thing about cotton lace that a lot of people love. So the French laces can be quite chunky, and they can be a little bit crunchy in the way that they feel, because that's the way the laces are made. However, cotton lace has that cotton feel over the top of the lace and is quite soft. So that's lace applique. Now, I'm going to show you some examples of gowns that actually use sheet lace and applique, so you can sort of see the difference. Here is an example of a gown that uses applique, and you can sort of see here the reason why we chose applique, so we can control exactly where it goes. It has a sheer bodice at the front here, so it is completely sheer with an illusion neckline up the top, and we've got the applique on the sleeves as well. But we didn't want to saturate the sleeves, we only really wanted it around the elbow, and we also just wanted it to be dense around the bust for coverage, and then it sort of goes out to nothing around the sides. So this is the reason we would use applique as opposed to a sheet lace. Here is an example of sheet lace that we've used throughout this whole gown, and the sheet lace basically is quite dense in pattern, so there's not a lot of sheerness to this lace, but there is sheer parts. So you can sort of see we've used this lace throughout the whole gown. And we've also used applique in the top here. So you can sort of see we've actually combined both the sheet and the applique, which is also very popular. So the same with the back. You can sort of see here that we've used applique all around the back and around the centre back to give that beautiful detail and that low back detail on the back design. So I hope that was really informative, and I hope it gives you a bit more understanding with lace and how lace actually works and what we can actually do with lace. So think about that when you're looking at lace gowns, whether you actually want sheet lace, you know, a full coverage kind of lace, or whether you want applique, and what kind of density and weight you want, you know, whether you want it to be chunky or fine and delicate. There are so many combinations that we can do, so it's just a matter of finding that right combination that's going to match you and your personality. Thank you so much for watching. I hope to catch you next time.